All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Support Black Business TV. Hashtag SBBTV. Your host, GI Operation, CEO of BlackFolkHotspots.com. You see it on the hat. You see it in the description below in the comments. And today we have a special guest, and Larry Spear. And he's one of the members of Black Folk Hotspots. But more importantly, me and Larry connected. He has a business app that's called Black 411, and we want to discuss exactly what Black 411 is. And it's easy for me to go and give a review, but I like to hear from the horse's mouth because you know what, the creator, he's been at this for a minute. He comes out of the telecom industry, and we want to talk about this Black 411 and how it's going to help us as Black people connect better with Black business owners from both ways, consumers and actually the owners. So, Larry, let's talk about how you doing today.
Good, brother. Thank you. I'm doing very well.
That's what's up. Hey, let's talk about. I know we've talked briefly on the phone and a few other things about Black 111. Have a profile, so we're able to look at that. And just so you know, the profile for Black 111 is in the description below this video. So at any time, if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook or anyway, you just click on the video and click on the description. It'll send you straight to his page. But we also have his contact information as well. So, Larry, let's talk about Black 411. What exactly is that?
Yeah, thanks for asking. And first, let me say, man, before I even answer that, first off, I want to say congratulations. I want to thank you for having me. You're a welcome breath of fresh air, on the industry. So, first off, kudos to you, brother, and keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate that.
So let me get to it. Yeah, the Black 411, quite simply, it's a new way to find Black-owned businesses. And is a targeted, what we've dubbed a targeted information service that allows consumers to find and locate Black-owned businesses nationally, instantly. It works just like regular 411, except when you text or call our service, we give you listings of Black-owned businesses. Let me give you an example. If you were a lawyer in Chicago, you would be able to text our number or call our number and say, lawyer in Chicago. You could say, I'm looking for a washing machine in New York. We'd give you listings of Black-owned businesses that sell washing machines. So basically, we've made available an instant way to find Black-owned businesses. And the last quick statement I'll make is, it's our premise that the reason we don't support Black-owned businesses more in this country is because, quite honestly, they're too difficult to find. Don't get me wrong, we have directories, we have online services, and those are great, and we support them ourselves. I use them myself, and I encourage others. But oftentimes, you need a quick, easy, and simple way to find a Black-owned business, and that's what the Black 411 brings to the table. Are you there? Did I lose you? Hey, Ryan, did I lose you, brother?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you fine now.
Okay, cool. For somebody, all that as soon as we go live, it breaks out. I'm glad you stayed there. Let me make sure all my settings and everything are correct. Still, okay. Let me turn the mics up. Cool. Okay, so I don't know if it's still recorded. I'll have to look at this in a minute. But you know what? That technical difficulty was not on Black 411. It was on me, because everything shut down on my end. So I don't know what that was. That was just some freak of nature. Probably because it's such a good thing that the some force doesn't want everybody to know about it. But Can you kind of start
Side against us. Exactly.
over?
Yeah, and I'll run through it real quickly again. I think it may have recorded, but I'll run through it again.
All right.
Yeah, as I said, everyone, basically the Black 411 is simply a new way to find black-owned businesses nationally here in the U.S. What we've dubbed it is a targeted information service that works just like regular 411, except when you contact our service, either via text or you call our service, we give you listings of black-owned businesses. So as an example, if you were looking for a washing machine in Atlanta, we would give you listings of black-owned stores that sell washing machines. Or if you were looking for a lawyer in Chicago, we'd give you listings of a black attorney in Chicago. Are you still
I'm
there?
still here.
Okay, yeah, I see your logo came up. So, basically the way we operate is we provide a fast, simple, and immediate way to find and locate black-owned businesses nationally. And don't get me wrong, there's quite a few of other options out there. There's, obviously online directories, there's, phone book directories, and we support and we believe in them as well. But what we wanted to do with the Black 411 was to provide a way to find these businesses instantly. And you can search, as I mentioned, as macro as saying, I'm looking for a lawyer in Chicago, or you could drill down as micro as saying, I'm looking for a lawyer who specializes in contract negotiation. So you have options to be able to find exactly what you're looking for in a very minute and micro way, and you get the information back instantly. That's the key to our service. You don't have to search online. You don't have to find books. You don't have to, rely on someone's word of mouth information. You're able to get the information when you want it, where you want it, and how you want it instantly. Are you still there, Ryan?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's and that's cool. So are you like so targeted to certain cities right now, or how is that going?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Actually, the service is nationwide. So we have businesses from Atlanta all the way to California. I have winemakers in San Francisco. I have black-owned restaurants in Arizona. I have lawyers, doctors, you name it. Handymen. So the business is a nationwide business. However, right now, from a marketing and advertising standpoint, where we're focusing our attention are on some key cities. New York, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Miami, obviously, because that's down in my neck of the woods, and Chicago. So those are the 5 initial cities from a marketing perspective. And when I say marketing, we're getting ready to launch some radio spots on Drive Time Radio. We're working with BET and TV1 to look at doing some television advertising and marketing. So we're going to do it in certain cities. We're not going to roll out the advertising nationally, but the service is available nationally. And I have agents.
This is crazy.
Companies and businesses nationwide.
Okay. So now let me ask you the tough question because I like to ask this question. What made you start this? What made you start this? Because we all have a story of why we've done certain things, but what made you start Black 411 and started in this in like this? Okay. We back. Can you hear me? Okay. So I don't know what happens. We're having technical difficulties, but that happens from time to time. Um, but until okay, trying to see if I can see her. Okay, there it is. Drop off. Okay, so it happens, and we are almost there. But it's one of the things that I think this is a pretty cool product, and I think this is a pretty cool service. All you have to do is send a text message. So you definitely got to check it out. Send a text message, you know, if you're looking for a washing machine. Because what happens is, and this is what I say a lot of times, this is why I like this product, is it's not all the time that we can find uh, a black business, for instance. You know, we may be looking for uh, certain things like it may be something that we're looking for. Say we're looking at getting a new television, or we're looking to buy a new car, and we may not be able to um, uh, necessarily find the black company who sells those telephones. I mean, that television or that car. But maybe we could find that, you know, that black professional, you know, or maybe you just don't know. So Black 411 is a viable tool to send that text, and his team will send you a text message back saying, "Hey, go here. This person is, you know, a black professional or a black business that sells these items," and that right there is pretty awesome. Um, you know, I like to, you know, I wanted you guys to. He's coming back, Larry.
Yes, sir. I'm here, my brother.
All right, you're back. So I was just filling in some space, and the question I had asked before you dropped off was, what made you start Black 411? Because we all have a story.
Yeah,
I mean, my
yeah,
story
yeah.
with
No,
Black Folk
no doubt.
Hotspots is unreal. But what's the story? What made you start this?
Yeah, this is an interesting story too. So, and as I mentioned, I don't want to date myself because I am kind of old school. But I actually started this probably about 8 years ago, and this was back when satellite dishes. When I first started, actually, I started back in the 90s. This is when the story begun. 8 years ago is when I was able to take it to a different level. But when I first started this was back when satellite dishes were, 6 feet tall, 6 feet wide, 6 feet round. It wasn't like they have today with the little direct TV dishes. And so I lived out in Atlanta on a big property, and I said, you know what, I want to buy a satellite dishes, and they cost about $6,000-7,000. And I said, it would be great if I could buy this from a black-owned business. And I literally, man, could not find a satellite dish provider that was black or African American owned. And I just realized that, it would be great if I could just pick up the phone, say, looking for a satellite dish in Atlanta, and get listings of black-owned satellite dish providers in Atlanta. And that's what birthed the idea. I was in telecommunications, as you mentioned earlier, knew how to put together the network and the infrastructure that was needed, and that's when I started the business.
That's I mean, because like I said, it's so many different reasons why we do things, and and for those that don't know, Black Folk Hotspots came to me in a dream. I was already doing internet marketing and this, that, and the other, for myself, and had like blogs around certain products and services. And my goal was to, develop the blog around a product, and then work on sending traffic through SEO purposes, organic SEO purposes. And when I had a dream, I said, why don't you do what you've been doing for yourself, but for black business owners? And here's the name, and here's this, and here's that. And so I called off that next day, and I went to work, and this is what you're dealing with. So it's always interesting to find out why other people started those questions, which is why I asked those certain questions on their profile on Black Folk Hotspots. And
Right.
And what's funny is it's a lot of questions to a certain extent. Well, it's not really a lot of questions, only like 5 questions, but you get some people who are just lazy, don't want to fill out the questions, and so they give you a one sentence answer, or less than one sentence answer. But I do that because when people come to that page at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, you know, when we are sleeping or working on another product and we're not looking at the page, people are going through the internet. We do it. Why don't we think our customers do the same thing?
Exactly.
You know, and that's so many times I tell people that, you know, I tell them, you know, there's a you know, it's just so many different things that people do, and in doing those things, we also have to adapt those principles. For instance, you know, years ago when I was in the mortgage industry, I was selling when the mortgage industry kind of folded, you know, I started doing credit card machines, and I would go to, and everything I wanted to do was around niches. I've always known niches work. So if you can create a niche around something, there's a lot of millions that you can make in a niche.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
It doesn't matter what it is. It can be, you know, whatever, selling socks or selling, you know, whatever it may be, or say it again.
I said, like the billionaires who put little umbrellas in drinks.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where people we don't focus. It could be something small. You know, whoever created the paper for business cards, whatever it may be, is, you know, whoever created certain things. And I like to focus on those small things because you can make something big out of something small. Well, anyway, I was selling credit card machines to, and I said, okay, so who needs these the most? Well, in my area, you know, when I would get my hair cut and this and the other, I always had to pay cash. Now,
Right.
I had a debit card since I was in the Air Force in the early 1990s. You know, and before most banks even knew about, you know, debit cards with the Visa logo on them. We always had the little ATM cards for a long time, but we didn't have the Visa logo. I had one of those in 1991. You know, and I remember, and it's funny, I remember going, I was dating this girl, and she had moved. She went to school. She was going to school at Xavier in New Orleans, and I was going to see her. And I remember my car breaking down in some small town in Alabama, and I remember going to try to pay for my alternator went out, and I remember going to pay for my alternator and stuff in this town, and I'm like, well, I have this card. And this has my money in it, you know, and they had no clue what I was talking about. And I literally had to go to the bank and get a cash advance off of my debit card.
That's crazy.
You know, they were like, what's an ATM? What's this? And I'm like, are you guys kidding me? Well, anyway, make a long story short, so the niche thing was, that's what I would do. I would find little products and I would build traffic in a niche. And then, you know, black business, honestly, is a niche, and it's a huge niche. And, you know, with all of us doing little bits and pieces to certain things, I think that we have started to reach, and then the world is starting to change to the point where they're saying, wait a minute, these black people got some great ideas too. You know, and
Exactly.
and
what it is, and what it is, not to interject, it's like you said, that niche is not that small of a niche. I mean, and you've seen the statistics. In fact, I think I've seen them on your site. You know, we spend over 1.2, 1.3, you know, $billion a year at this point. I mean, it puts us at, trillion, exactly.
Trillion.
Right, trillion. It puts us at like the 16th largest nation in terms of our gross buying power.
Exactly. I know exactly where he's going with the buying power, and until he's on his cell phone, and I'm gonna tell you, sometimes Hangouts, you know, they kind of, okay, he's trying to get through it, but sometimes I know Hangouts on mobile, it kind of goes a little astray, but that's what we're dealing with. 1.2, 1.3 trillion, and it's expected to grow even more. And if you know anything about the rule of 72, you know how long it takes for things to double. And even just in that dollar buying power, if we took, and even at this time, we're spending somewhere about 5% of every dollar that we bring in back in our communities and with other business owners that look like us. And we're the lowest on that totem pole in recirculating those dollars in all these sites, Black 401, Black Folk hotspots. Well, our goal is to help you get more exposure. We've built a network of over 300,000 people. So we got people on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Google Plus and YouTube and other places across the United States. And that's what we do. So our goal is to build those things so that people can come and find out more about business owners, because the more that we have. I'm here. Yeah, you back?
Yes, sir. Sorry again.
I know that it's. Go ahead. I know that sometimes with mobile, it can be a little hard sometimes.
Yeah, if I had known that, I would have did this. I had known that I would have did it on the computer. So I apologize to you and the listener.
No. Hey, you know what? It's live. Ain't no recording. Ain't no this, that, and the other. I tell people all the time, I like to do things so you see, hey, you know what? Everything don't always work as planned. But you know what? It's the same way in business. As a business owner, you can have your day lined up as perfect as you want it, and nothing goes right.
Exactly.
It's about whether you know how to, pivot, maybe, and go the other way. A phone call, you can be like, oh, yeah, this is a lock solid business deal. This is going down. And then all of a sudden they throw you a monkey wrench. You got to know how to do these things. Yeah. I got a question for you. And this is off the beaten trail, because this is bothering me. If a customer calls you up, and this is live, and please give your honest response, because I'm going to give mine after this.
Sure.
If a customer calls you up looking for your product and service, and you start trying to explain it to them, they're like, oh, this ain't what I thought it was. This is whatever, and then just hangs up on you. Now, I know everybody has caller ID these days if you're calling a cell phone, for sure. What would you do? Would you call that person back, or just let that go? The person you've never talked to before in your life.
Me, myself, and you straight up honest answer, I would probably call them back and say, you know what, the call ended abruptly. If you truly don't want to speak with me, I'll respect that, but I just want to understand a little bit more. Can you explain to me what the issue is with what it is that we're trying to do? And if they again then hang up and it becomes abrupt, I'll let it go. But at least my nature is I got to try that one time to say, you know what, let me see what the real issue is.
Even though they purposely hung up on you?
Yes.
I wouldn't. But okay. I like your response too. I can see both sides of the fence. I wouldn't. I don't know. It just comes from the me personally, and I get it. I saw this posted today, and it's been on my mind all day. And the person did what you said, and it resulted in. It turns out to be resulted into a sale, right? The person was under pressure, and they didn't quite understand, supposedly, and they made a sale. Now, I look at it as, okay, that's great. But I also know that now that customer maybe know that they got you, and they can become the devil customer from hell for the rest of your life.
Right.
And then later down the line, you're like, that wasn't worth it. I wouldn't, me personally, and I think the reason why I wouldn't is because I know that I wouldn't do that, right? If something is not as advertised, I'm not going to go curse you out. Now, if I bought your product or service, and, we might have I still might not, I'm not going to curse you, Maybe, I don't know. But I would more or less be more politically, more direct. But I just think that I can never cry over what I never had.
But you know what it is though, Ryan. You know what it is. It's like and that's why I said it depends on who it is. If it's a member of the Klan that's calling me and he hangs up, I'm letting him go. But if it's a brother or sister who calls me who says, oh, this ain't what I thought it was, and they just abruptly hang up, I guess there's two reasons why I would call them. One is, and you and I talked about this on the phone when we first started talking, I'm an athlete by nature. I played basketball, and there's a competitive side to me. So just the fact that, wait a minute, they just, like that, I'm not going to go out like that. That's one. But then the second thing is, and this comes from which I know you have, so that's why I don't even believe you believe your answer, because you're calling somebody back, and I know you are. But it's like, I know that what I bring to the table is such a strong idea that if someone takes that firm of a negative reaction, they truly don't understand what it is I'm doing. And I need to talk to them and let them know, wait a minute, I think there might be some misunderstanding of what I'm doing.
See, let me okay, and I get it, and I'm super uber competitive, and that was one of the things that even in sales early on is you didn't just hang up. Now, if I called you and you clicked on me, we're gonna play phone tag for the rest of your life. If you've never talked to me, matter of fact, I told you I worked at CDW, and one of my best customers was a customer that and eventually down the line, 6 months down the line, 8 months down the line, once you have that relationship, you finally say, hey man, why? Tell me something. Especially when you start doing your little reviews and this, that, and the other, and or review time, so you want to line up your reviews, and the surveys are going out, or whatever, right? And you ask, hey man, you're gonna probably get a survey in a couple weeks. Make sure you fill it out. But hey, by chance, why did you ever start doing business with me? And this one guy, he was out of California. He said, you know what, Ryan? I started doing business with you because you're the most persistent motherfucker that I know. And that's his exact words. He was like, you wouldn't stop calling. And I told him, I said, my favorite word is no. So if you keep telling me no, I'm going to keep calling because I like to hear it. And I also know the numbers, right? You're going to hear more no's than you hear yeses. All the different sales things and this, that, and the other. But I also knew that he had never worked with me before. So if he had a bad taste in his mouth from a previous rep in our company or whatnot, then that had nothing to do with me. And I was new on the case. So if you're watching this, what would you have done? Would you have called that person back or said, hey, it's more fish in this sea? And it's no different from, going fishing. So I don't know how much you heard about that, but did you hear the part where I talked about the customer that told me I was the most persistent mofo ever?
Yes.
Okay. So that was his exact words, right? And we laughed because I knew that was the reason. And all the other customers, because that's what I would do. I understand the persistence and the follow up, but one of the things that I realized was in 15 years of sales or whatever in corporate sales was the more you bend over for a customer, the more they'll back, and then before long the deals are not even worth it. So it's easier to say, you know what? No to you. You're fired as a customer, and find another one. So that's what came easy to me. Even with Black Folk hotspots, I get calls all the time. I get emails. I get text messages. The CEO from people who don't quite understand. I've been chewed out more times than I can shake a stick at. And I always, it's to the point now, and it's like you do all this work, and then then the person says, I'm gonna delete my page. Now nowadays I'm like, hey, just go ahead and delete it. There's 1.9 million more black business owners out there. I just got to find them. But it's one of those. It's just one of those things that I just don't know. And I guess there's a bunch of different answers, but it won't let me. But anyway, so make sure you. Let me see if Larry's gonna come back because I want to go over a few things with them before we take off. But I want to appreciate you guys for watching. But in the comments though, if you're watching this on YouTube or wherever, Facebook, tag us Black Folk Hotspots. Let us know, what would you do? What would you do? Would you call them back? Would you just let it go and hang up the phone and do your little curse dance or whatever? But what would you do? They called you. Remember, there's no relationship whatsoever. They called you and then asked you for a product or something that you didn't have or whatever, or something you just couldn't do, and they just chewed you out and then cursed you and click. And we know the difference between a person when a drop call. Like, I know that Larry just didn't drop off this call because he's pissed at me. Larry dropped off this call because we're having some technical difficulties, and that's fine. So what I would resend him back a click, versus saying it's over. It's sort of the same way when I know how certain things are set up on the internet, so I know who's getting what when I do these chats. I know how it does. I mean, obviously we're on a 90-something episode. So anyway, I appreciate you guys watching again. We got some more stuff coming up. We're going to have more interviews. We'll probably get Larry back. If you want to know more, make sure you thumb this up. Make sure you share it. Make sure you like it, and comment, good or bad. I like to be candid. I like to be straightforward, and it's live taping, so there ain't no editing, right? It is what it is. Larry, you're back.
That one was on me, my brother. That one was on me.
And it's all good. Hey, I just told people, I know Larry didn't hang up on me. But
Yeah.
But listen, so, and I sold cars, right? And do you know the people who beat me up the most and gave, and I made the least amount of money on, always trashed me. They got the best deals, right? I would get the worst surveys from them. But the people who I made the most amount of money on, like whatever, those people, A1 surveys, and they will come back and they will send more people back and this and the other. But the person who paid $1 over invoice or $1 under invoice, they wouldn't send a referral to say they like. Matter of fact, I had a guy came in, he bought a Toyota Avalon. You still there? Okay. Anyway, but he bought a Toyota Avalon, right? Sold it under invoice. We had it for a while. It was a demo. He knew it was a demo. Actually, not only was it a demo, but it had custom seats because it was the owner's demo. Which means he put custom leather, heated and cooled seats in it, which didn't come in his package. So he had like $5,000 extra equipment that the owner just, when we got a car and we knew it was going to be a demo for the owner, what he usually liked to do was buy a base or mid-level Avalon and then put top-of-the-line seats and stuff in it, or base model, but then put top-of-the-line seats in it. And I mean, these seats were better than the top-of-the-line Avalon seats. Well, anyway, it had one little scratch where we had repaired. Like on the bumper, there was like one of them pin scratches type deal. Wasn't even bad, but this guy beat us up over price, and it was no big deal, right? We wanted the demo gone, so it didn't matter, right? But we're gonna obviously you're not gonna start low and work your way even lower. You start at the spot that you're supposed to stop at because you got a right to make a profit when you're selling a product. Period. But anyway, this guy beat me up and beat me up bad. And I'm not even that bad of a hard of a salesperson. I'm like, hey, you know what it is? I knew how far we can go, and I'm like, hey, this is the price. And so anyway, got the survey, trashed not only me but the dealership. And anyway, make a long story short, 2 weeks later, he comes in again. Now, he just trashed the dealership. He came in again to bring his brother-in-law to buy a Camry. And he didn't ask for me, right? He asked for another salesperson. And let me just say, he looked nothing like me. But this guy, this customer, he looked a lot like me. Like, we shared a lot of the same skin tone, right? Matter of fact, he had even worked for my grandfather for years. But he brought this guy and he wanted to look at a person. He wanted another salesperson that looked nothing like me. And that person lit him up, charged him. He just laid down for him. Laid down. And, you know, I'm like, man, you gonna at least split that profit check with me? But no, he laid him down. He even paid over invoice for something. I mean, not over invoice, but over sticker. And it's just funny how we treat each other. And that's something that has changed. I always looked out for people. You know, one of the things that I always said was, you know, I have a right to, I'm going to make a profit off of this. I'm going to make a commission. I can't sell you this car, for instance, and not make any money. You know, even when I sold my sister a Camry, she still drives to this day. Is over, you know, I forgot what year it was. Maybe it's 04 or something like that. But she still has it, rather. She's saving it for her son. And, you know, the first thing she said was, I want a new car. And I said, well, hey, look, I'm gonna charge you $1,000 of invoice. I'm going to make $300. And first thing she says is, that's not a problem. You have a right to make a profit. And as black people, we got to understand each other that we have to make a profit to stay in business, because 80% of businesses that go in business right now, this day, a year from now, will not be in business. And if you take 100 businesses and you do that over a 5-year period, if 100 businesses go in business today, there will be less than 2 of those businesses still in existence in 5 years from now.
Yep.
So businesses have to make a profit, you know, especially black businesses. And I'm sorry if you feel it's going to buy, you know, some chapstick or deodorant or toilet paper and this, that, and the other. If you see a black business, they maybe not be able to have the same margins, you know, or price points that a Walmart can have. And that's nothing against Walmart, honestly. I'm not one of the few people that don't have anything against Walmart. But if there's a black person and it may be $1 more, I'll spend that money with them, because I know that may be the difference with them staying in business and going out of business.
Well, and you know,
and I do it all the time.
You know the other reason why that's important, Ryan?
What's up?
Because 90% of black-owned businesses are sole proprietorships, and it's how the people put food on their table.
Exactly. Not only that, but guess what? When you go back through the history of these businesses that we see now that are conglomerates, like a Walmart, like a Myers, like a Kroger, these were sole proprietorships 100 years ago.
Exactly.
Pizza Hut.
Exactly.
They started as a little family business, and that's how they grew. And it's so important that you say that, because one of the things that I focus on, I know you focus on it too, is the black professionals. They're overlooked. The reason why I'm not so down on Walmart is because there's black people who are general managers of Walmarts.
Right.
Black general managers of McDonald's and Pizza Huts and all these different restaurant chains, and there's management, and they hire black people. Maybe, okay, so they fighting, a lot of these companies are fighting with minimum wage, but I'm sorry, you shouldn't be working at a place 30 years and still making minimum wage. You still shouldn't be working 30 years at a place and still working on fries. I'm just being honest. You know, you got to be looking to raise up. And from what I know, and the managers I've talked to, because I've talked to them, I've reached out and like, hey, you know, you got the little black kid over there. You ain't had no black kids in here. You saw any potential? And they be like, all the time. And I tell them, We got college education assistants. We got this. If you ever want to be a manager, let me know. We got training stuff, all this stuff. But they never come back to me, and they never reach out to say this is something that they want. So what am I supposed to do?
Right.
I'm like, case closed. You know, the good thing is, you know, the government, the pressure, and you know, I had this argument with one of my white buddies, and he doesn't feel as though minimum wage should be like, you know, should be raised, you know, and I told him I'm all for it, and if it can go, let it go as high as possible. He said, well, isn't that going to drive up prices? I said, not necessarily so, bro, because what's going to happen is you push up minimum wage, you put more dollars into the economy. Yeah, that money is going to be spent. That's more disposable income that's going to be spent. So now companies will make. They're not going to lose. They're going to make just as much money because now people have more to buy.
Exactly.
Now, if it became a big national crisis like the healthcare and this, that, and the other, and they said you got to save at least 20% of your check, now that will be a problem. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's mandatory that you got to participate in this 401k. It's mandatory that you got to do this. That you got to save, you know, 10, 20% of your check. That would be a problem. But that ain't gonna happen. But
that's why it's also so important though that we support the black businesses, because when you look at, I think I read a statistic where they say that 80% of black-owned businesses hire black employees. So you need to support these businesses, or we need to, because that's going to help eradicate unemployment and poverty and bad communities and bad schools, etc. You know, if we are going to rely on that McDonald's or that Walmart to pay us more than that minimum wage, yeah, you know, we may be barking up the wrong tree. But if we help grow the businesses in our communities, number one, the dollar stays in our community. I mean, I'm sure your listeners have heard, you know, they say that the black dollar stays in the black community 6 hours. It circulates in the white community, circles around like 11 times. In the Asian community, it's like 17 times. In the black community, again, 6 hours. 6 hours. I'm talking not times, but days. 11 days versus 16 days versus 6 hours. I mean, that's like, and I always say this on my site, and hopefully when your viewers go and check it out, our problem is, it's like if we make $100 and we then go right across town, give someone who we don't know $95 of it, drive back home, and wonder why we don't have any money when we get home, why our community is falling apart, why we can't support our school systems. You just gave 95 of the 100 to someone who's never going to come back to your community. And we do that with $1.2 trillion.
Exactly. And you know, it's funny that even that 6 hours, even if we took that 6 hours and we made that money, and you know, I spent it with you and you spent it with me, and I spent it with you and you spent it with me, that would be a difference. The fact of the matter is, it's not even one circulation. It's not even going from one hand to the next. So It's like this, you know. And I go, are you guys thinking there's a direct correlation between medium income, low, and high crime rate? High. There's a direct correlation. You go into the neighborhoods, and if you look around the neighborhood and say, oh, we got a low crime rate, you can rest assured, if you look at the median income compared to all the communities around there, it's higher. And it's once we start to get that through our heads, then we'll start to think, hey, we can end this stuff ourselves. We can also put 1 million black people to. If every one of us this year said our goal is to hire one person,
right?
You already said it. We hire people that look like us. Everybody does. I tell people, I won't stop my crusade until I go into a Chinese restaurant and see a little black girl working in there.
Right. Or even
when
more.
I do.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was gonna say, and even more important, my brother. when is the last time you saw a Chinese pull into a soul food restaurant and order soul food takeout?
You're right about that.
We order it every day, and it's like it's it's a consciousness, my brother, and I don't want to preach, but we have to change our consciousness for us to have a different result.
My thing is, I think I'm a little bit more understanding to a certain extent, but I'm going to tell you, when I went to work for CDW in 2008, and thank you, CDW, for firing me. I appreciate it. Peace. It was the best thing ever happened. You just don't know. My 2-week resignation was, my resignation was already written, but it was, you got me about 2 months ahead of time. I was turning it in March. It was dated for March 31st of 2011, and they let me go January 26th, and that was perfect. In the middle of a snowstorm, by the way. But when I first started there, I didn't know exactly why I did this or why I had this statement, why I kept telling these people that. They had 2 offices, one in Chicago and one in the north suburbs, and which was about 40 miles north of Chicago. And I applied at the one that was 40 miles north of Chicago, Chicago's like 30 miles from me. So that's like over 60 miles, right? And that I would have had to drive. And I really didn't know. But during the interviewing process, I drove up there and this, that, and the other. And during the interviewing process, or after the interviewing process, basically when I was hired, my manager kept asking, do you want to work in the Chicago office? And I was like, no, I didn't apply for that one. And the reason why I applied for the one in the suburbs further away is because I knew eventually I would move up that way, right? And I wanted to be away from most of my friends and family, matter of fact, all of them, because I was working on some projects. I was doing more in the internet marketing and the blogs and things, so I wanted to be away so I wasn't pulled away to hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Hey, let's go hang out here. Let's do this, right? With this way, I would know nobody in this city, and I would just hunker down and get done what I need to get done. It's sort of like how people, want to write a book. They'll jump on the Amtrak and ride from here to California, right? Or they'll go stay in some resort somewhere out of anybody's zip code so that they can just be peaceful. Right. And what I noticed, it's been that way many times, but I was the only black person on my team. I was one of the very few on the whole entire floor, and CDW has like 3,500 employees, and which is not a problem. But I never understood why my manager kept asking me, if you want to work in Chicago, just let me know. And they relocated me to move up there, so they paid me to move. So that was good too. That was something I didn't know up front, but that ended up happening. So I guess it worked out. And then I moved up that way, and I was like, man, this is way too quiet. I don't like this. I like the city life. I don't like the suburban life. As crazy as it sounds, I want to hear somebody rolling down the street bumping their music every now and then. Just know there's some life in this community. And at 9 o'clock, man, it's like you hear, like, you can hear the grass growing, right? Like, no, I don't like this. I want to hear some cars moving. I want to hear some honking of some horns or something. Anyway, so I moved back to the city. And so I think it was Thanksgiving, and I was like, man, because sales started to dwindle down during that time period or whatever. My customers are going on vacation because we're business to business, so everybody's taking vacation, so it's kind of slow. So I asked my manager, I said, hey, do you mind if I work in the Chicago office, for this Thursday and Friday? And he was like, oh, no, whatever, for that Friday or that Wednesday, whatever. He was like, no problem. And so when I went to the Chicago office and I walked in, it's about 30 to 40% black. And I go, I get it. He's been asking me if I want to work around my people.
Right. Right.
Because, and then I go, why is it black here, more blacks here and up there? And then I look at the demographics of Chicago. And I said, this is a perfect demographic of Chicago.
Right.
And where I was at in Vernon Hills was like 1% black. So I was that 1%, whatever, that worked in the company. So it, like you said, it totally represented that area.
Right.
Most black business owners live in the communities that their businesses operate on. People are more apt to hire people who look like them. So the managers, you know, they associate around. So those managers up there, there's a good chance they didn't go to school with black people.
Right.
There ain't no black people walking in the doors to apply. You know, it just happened to me. I did over, you know, through Hot Jobs or Monster or something like that. I don't know. But, and my name's Ryan Hodge, so unless you look and see that I was president of Black Student Union in college and this, that, and the other, you know, you might not know.
Right.
You know, but anyway, so that's why I think that we need to do certain things. And you hit it on the head. We need to start, you know, we work together, we do certain things, and that's why I created this show so that people could talk to each other. I mean, people can find out more about these black businesses, just another avenue. That's why I created the site, you know, because I was already doing, I said, wait a minute, I can help all these people. I understand how online marketing works. I understand how social media works. I also understand not just online, but if you look at, and this is more into your other question about how Black Folk Hotspots work a little bit more, if you look at how radio and TV works.
Mm-hmm.
When's the last time a McDonald's commercial made you get up in the middle of the night and go to McDonald's and get a cheeseburger?
Right.
But you know exactly what they have new on the menu. Huh?
I said, no, you're absolutely right. No, I said, you're absolutely right. You may not get a drive to go get it, but you know it's there. You're conscious.
It's the branding. You know, how many times have you listened to the radio or, you know, listen to a song? I don't know what music, what type of music you listen to. It really doesn't matter. But you, because you understand this concept, you'll hear songs like, oh, I don't like that song. But after you listen to the radio, you know, for the next 2 hours, and you done heard that song 15 times, you go, wait a minute, this song ain't half bad.
Right.
It's branding. It's putting it inside your brain. So I go, you know, you had a lot of these companies that were doing e-blasts and charging $150, $200, you know, for e-blast, right? $75, $100, $150 for e-blast. I can do that. That's easy. You create an email list, you get subscribers, and you mail them stuff. It's real simple, not rocket science, right? Most of the lists are coming from because they were club promoters or this, that, and the other, so they promoting to people who didn't really ask to be promoted to. For this instance, I said, okay, I've been creating email lists for years, right? So I know how to do that. I said another thing is for my email list, I'm gonna have like 10 questions on my email list. Because if you can go through that whole email list, if you can go through and answer every one of those questions, I like long form stuff. Because I feel like if you can scroll all the way down this page and read all this stuff and get to the bottom to do X, you wanted to do it.
Right.
Right? If all you had to do is put your name and your email, that's so easy, right? So now you're going to have people, right? So if you're on my email list, which you got about 30,000 people on, and you wanted to be there because you answered a crap load of questions. Same thing with Black Folk Hotspots. I had a guy, predominantly this big black author, and producer of a movie about black stuff, and he went through, he created a profile, and he said to me, well, he didn't say to me directly, but in the comments he said, this is too long. And because I knew who he was, I hit him up on Twitter, because ordinarily I wouldn't have chased him, even though I already had his email list, this, and the other, and his phone. I would not have done it.
I told you to call him out.
Only because I knew who he was. Only because. And I said, hey man, the reason why, I said exactly the reason why what you said is the exact reason why what I do works, and exactly the reason why we do. Because we want to chase out, I don't want to chase out the tire kickers to a certain extent.
Right.
And that's why I do that. The people who, they're going to waste your time, the time wasters. And I was like, that's exactly why. And you know what his response was? Didn't nobody ask you a fucking thing.
What?
Yes. I didn't ask you shit. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna save face because now, bro, we got some issues. I'm trying to be nice, right. And I'm from the hood too, bro. You know what I mean? Don't let the professional demeanor sometimes change. You know, which I've had to tell some of these white people when I worked in some of these companies. They look at you can have a Gary Indiana Ryan or you can have a suburban Ryan. It's all up to you and how you answer that question.
Right.
And usually they go, I'll take the suburban one. And I'm like, that's what I thought, because you only got one chance to disrespect me before, I ain't gonna say I'm gonna put my hands on you, this, that, and the other, but it's just like, my bark is pretty loud, and standing 6'1" and 250, 260, don't hurt. It don't hurt, But anyway, I was like, wow, I respected this dude. I really did. I promoted his movie before he was even paying me. I mean, never paid me a penny, rather, because it was good information. Sort of like the same stuff that we're talking now. And I'm like, wow. And then he blocked me. And I was like, wow, okay.
Listen, don't tell me it was Spike Lee, my Morehouse brother. Don't you dare tell me it was Spike.
No, it wasn't Spike. He wasn't on Spike's level. He was a small producer, but he was getting a lot of push. Have you seen Hood and Colors? Uh-oh, he's having some technical difficulties. But it wasn't dude from Hidden Colors. But he was like getting on that level. So, but yeah, that's what you get. And that's why I don't chase behind people. You want to go, you go. You know who I am, and if your pride doesn't get in the way, you can come back. That's the one thing that I keep. My phone number's out there. You can call me up, this, that, and the other. But if your pride, my pride that says, hey, I got other people to work with. I got 2,200 plus black business owners I can be working instead of calling you up trying to figure out what your problem is today. I mean, I just do what I do. The same thing I've been doing for the last 8 years, for black business owners. And it's a routine, and we do our team. We do everything. We do it on a daily basis. I'm not going to beg you to be a part of Black Folk Hotspot. I'm going to tell you need to be a part of Black Folk Hotspot. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to beg you. Because if you don't want us to put you through our rotation and we get the most views of any black business site out there, you can go check that out at Alexa. Go to you can go to bfhsnetwork.com and check Alexa, or you can go to alexa.com and put in BFHS Network, which is short for Black Folk Hotspots. See, bfhsnetwork.com. But you can do that, and it'll tell you. It'll say, hey, this is, Black Folk Hotspots is just a landing page, but BFHS Network is actually the network. And you put it into Alexa, and then you compare it to any other site out there, and you'll see we get the most traffic. We're ranked higher in traffic. We get people spend time on our pages, spending almost 30 minutes on our pages, looking at 25 plus pages per visit. Our bounce rate is about 14, 15%. Even Black Enterprise, people are spending like 2 minutes on Black Enterprise. And there's nothing against Black Enterprise. I subscribe to it, and I look through the articles, and this, that, and the other, and I go online and look at their stuff. But they ain't spending no time on it. The root. No, they ain't spending no time. They may get more views, but they ain't spending no time. They're looking at what they're getting, they're going. Black Folk Hotspots, though, they're standing around, they're looking at profiles. Those 25 different pages could be events, could be blog posts, could be your flyers about your business, it could be videos that you posted to Black Folk Hotspots, and that's what we do. So the profile is free, and we share it and we put it into the rotation. But all the other stuff, the extra promotion, so basically we put e-blast on steroids, and that's what we charge for. The little $15 a month. That's it, $15, and we give you hundreds of dollars of promotion every month. We got 300,000 people. Imagine what you would pay for a list. Somebody with a list of urban black, or not all black, but urban professionals Organically grown, not bought. Organically grown, not bought. Imagine what you would pay for 300,000 people to be exposed up to that many people. And the reason why I say up to, because everybody's not going to see everything you share. If I send an email to all my 30,000 people in the email blast, they're not all going to open it. But I guarantee you that we got a better open rate and a better click-through rate than all other sites out there. Because that's what we do, and all our people are with us organically. Organically. We didn't go and hire nobody, send no bots out to follow these people, this. Everybody who liked our page on Facebook, follows on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatever, they follow us because they like what we do. We are an e-blast company to the most point on steroids that caters to the niche of black business owners. The one thing, when Google contacted me 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I think it was, maybe 4, they said, why did you start Black Folk Hotspots? We really want to know that. And I said, there's only one thing that I know more than anything else in the world. That's black people, because I know me. I know how we think. I know how we operate. At least I know how I think and how I operate. And I know I'm not unique in that instance. I like watching sports, like watching movies, like hanging out with my daughter, I like, talking crap, whatever. I was born in the projects. We got out of there. I graduated from high school, an all-black high school. I went to college. I went to the military. I mean, hey, I got a lot in common with a lot of people. I know how we are. I know our buying habits. I grew up in a city that was considered the first major black city in the United States. I'm used to seeing black business owners everywhere I went. It ain't like that no more. Unless we consider the heirs black. I mean, we could say that, but how you want to look at it? And that's how it is. And that's why I created Black Folk Hotspots, because I knew, and then from that, we started to grow. Our major demographic is women. 65% of our network is women from the ages of 35 to 45. So if that's your target, bam. And it gets bigger. Then men is like 30-something%, but and Twitter is even bigger. It's flipped. So our Twitter followers is majority black males between the age of 35 and 45. It's ironic because that's the age bracket I'm in. Most of us still listen to hip hop, but we listen to it all. Versus that generation that younger generation that don't listen to no real soul music. They might know a few songs, but they not stuck on it like we are. But they listen to rap music. And they wear skinny jeans and saggy pants that none of us really understand. But some of them are following us because eventually they will be us. But that's why we started Black Folk Hotspots. So your business needs to have a profile, blackfolkhotspots.com, just like Larry and the 2,200 other black businesses. Our goal this year is to share at least one new black business owner every day. That's 365. We should be more than that. And then purchase a shirt because it helps us keep the cost down. All they say is support black business. I don't have one on today. But you just click the link in the description. They're like $20 for a shirt and like $35 something for a hoodie. It starts conversations. They make statements. But all these groups, they all got all these rules. The hell with all them rules. Let people be who they are. If we want to argue and fight over certain things, let us be. That's what we do. But we also get the job done. Business owners, you got to understand something. You are no different than your customers. And the story I was going to tell about the credit card machines is when I was going to these beauty and barbershops because I was tired of paying cash to go to the ATM to the barbershop before I went to get my hair cut because they didn't accept debit or credit. So that was the niche I chose with the credit card. So I would go to these beauty shops and I would say to these people, they'd be like, "Oh, we don't do credit." I'm like, "Well, when you go to Walmart or you go to the stores, do you use cash or do you use your card?" Majority of the time, they say, "I use my card." Well, why wouldn't you accept it for your customers? Why would you inconvenience your customers? Tell me that. Why would you inconvenience your customers? That makes no sense. Maybe I never thought about that. So your customers, you know, they're you. They like ratchet reality TV. Don't try to play like you don't watch it. If you know the characters, you watch it. If you watch one episode, you watched it, right? It's like that old thing, if you grin, you in, right? But no, on a serious tip, if you got to know your customers. So when you're advertising when you're marketing and you get your Facebook page or your Twitter page and this, that, and the other, it ain't all have to be all businessy. Don't front the fake the funk. Ain't nobody that corny. You don't talk business. You may be able to talk business all day, but you don't talk business all day. Don't lie. You want to know why you can't get more than 5 followers on Twitter or 5 likes on Facebook? That's why. Your page is corny. It's current events. Talk about them. Share pictures of dogs and cats. Quotes. Interact with the people. It's not a dictatorship. Go look at some popular pages and see what they share. And you know what? And I'm gonna tell you something. I call it if you're a boxing fan, then you're gonna understand how it works. Jab, 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 power punch, pow, pow. That's how you do marketing online. You got to get the cat before you skin the cat. But you in a boxing match, that boxer's gonna throw way more jabs than he do right hooks or power punches. So you want to give him jabs. When I just call my customers every day, building a book of business, one of the largest technology companies in the world. What did I do? Everything wasn't a sales pitch. I'll call customers like, "Hey, how you doing today?" We ain't trying to buy nothing. That ain't what I called for. I just called to see how you were doing today. I'm doing all right. All right. That's all I want to know. Just want to see. That's it. And that's really and truly all I want to do. Hey, what's up? Just want to touch you. Touches. It's all about touches. Touches turns into sales. The more touches you make, the more sales you make. Period. One thing I will not have is disrespect. You're not going to treat me like shit. You're not going to talk to me like shit because I'm going to tell you what. Click up. I'm not chasing you. There's way too many customers out there. Not chasing you. Mm-mm. Not. You don't pay me enough to chase you. You can't. I'm sorry. I ain't kissing your ass for nothing. You got to bring us some dough, some serious dough, and it better be 6 figures of it at least, right? And maybe high 5 figures. So if it's $99,999, maybe. But no, on a serious tip though, and that's what I do when I teach those classes. When I teach these business owners, when I teach those things, they go, wow. When I was in financial services, they wanted everybody to be like toothpicks. And when I would teach and I would train our new reps, they were like, wow, I learned more today than I had in the last 6 months. Yeah, because I taught it a different way. Because there's more than one way to skin a cat. But the first rule of it is you got to catch the cat first. If I can't get you, I can't teach you. So if I can't get you to look at my stuff online, then I can never sell to you. You got to think about that when you're selling stuff. But we want to do things in such a way, and then we wonder why we're not growing it. When they be like, "Oh, likes don't matter," and followers don't matter. Yeah, dude. Oh yeah, dude. because only 6% of the people are seeing what you got. On average, on Facebook, maybe 5-6%. Facebook will tell you that. Think about your news feed, your timeline on your regular personal Facebook page. What if every page you've liked, every person that you're friends with posted right now? What would your news feed be like? Exactly. So they gotta have an algorithm to show you the things that that they think based on your habits that you're more apt to click or like or look at. Why? Because Facebook makes money by the more time you spend on Facebook. They want to keep you on Facebook as long as possible, and people still don't stay on Facebook as long as they stay on BFHS Network, which is short for BlackFolkHotspots.com. Alexa.com. Go check the numbers. I don't lie. You got people out here talking about, oh, we get 1 million hits a month. Bullshit. Black business sites? No. You ain't Black Enterprise. They may get just at 1 million. Maybe the Root, some of these others, they get high traffic numbers, but not some of these sites. And I ain't gonna name you, but I screenshot that crap every time you lie, especially if you know who I am, because half of y'all come to me, and then y'all want to do things your own way. And I keep trying to tell you, number one, don't lie to your customers, because eventually they're gonna figure it out. Because somebody like me is gonna expose you, and I'm not gonna even talk your name. But I'll just tell people, go to Alexa. Here's what you want to do. Go to Alexa.com. Put in all the Black business URLs you know about. BFHSnetwork.com and the others. And see who's at the top. See who gets more traffic than the others. Now, if you see spikes, that means somebody said, oh, I got a few pennies, and I'm going to throw a bunch of advertising towards it. That's going to go down. Look over the history. You'll see spikes. Boop. It ain't because it was Black Friday and they ran a great Black Friday sale, catalog sale, or Black History Month. It's because they spent money. And that's fine. It's fine to spend money. That's what you do. That's what advertisers do. You spend money. People spend money to put on Black Folk Hotspots. Yeah, that's great. But I like organic traffic. That's what matters. That's the people who you ain't got to spend money to reach them. They're going to come to you on Mac. Like me. When I listen to 92.3 in the morning, I got a routine. I listen to Ricky Smiley in the morning. I like to hear what he got to talk about from about 7 to 7:15, 7:30. Like to hear what he talk about, unless it's Paternity Test Tuesday. Then I listen to that because that's funny. Or unless he have a special guest on there, and I listen to that whole thing. Like today he had Tigger or Tiger, whatever his name is. Gary with T's crazy and rock. But then sometimes I'll flip to see what Steve Harvey's talking about. I don't really like Steve Harvey too much. His show too much hardly. Sometimes Strawberry Larry, sometimes Steve's advice sometimes is just, I don't know. It's just, unless they got somebody, and then sometimes I'll listen to Tom Jordan. Sometimes I'll listen to WGCI. But then I flip to, I like sports. So then I'll flip to ESPN 1000 and listen to the Mike and Mike show, and then listen to that for the rest of the day. And every now and then when I get tired of listening to talk, I'll go back to some song stuff. But that's it. But think about that. I'm organic to them. They not paying. I'm not seeing any advertising clicking on it. It's organic. I'm organic traffic. Just saying. But anyway, y'all, I'm out of here. Create your profile. Black business owners, Black professionals, Black politicians. If you're trying to get office, you need more exposure. That's why you put up yard signs. Just saying. Billboards. You need exposure. Got videos on YouTube. If you're already a member of Black Folk Hotspots, you got videos on YouTube, they need to be on Black Folk Hotspots so we can be sharing them. Just take the embed code, put it on Black Folk Hotspots. Everywhere at the top. Take a risk. It's $15. Upgrade your account. Let us go to work for you. That's what we do. Like us on Facebook, Twitter, follow us, Instagram. All we do is share Black businesses and talk mess and share current events and talk about it. Got events coming up? They need to be posted in the event section of Black Folk Hotspot so we can put them into the rotation. Get some of the celebrity treatment. Anyway, y'all, peace out. BlackFolkHotspots.com, CEO. I'm at GI Operation on Twitter. I barely check it though, and don't DM me because I will never look at it. I go through the DMs just to clear it out. I hit the red X, Mark Reed or Mark Red, and then the X button because it's too much. I got too many. I got email, I got text messages, I got Facebook inbox, I got Instagram DMs, all this crap. That's way too much. I can't deal with it. I tried it. But anyway, y'all, peace. Alexa.com. Check it out. Tell me. It's gonna be a night tent. Peace. And thanks, Larry, for being a guest today. Really appreciate you, bro. We're gonna talk soon. We're gonna get this out. You gotta get to work though. Peace.